Bing, bing, whoop, whoop.
Bing,
Bing, bing, whoop, whoop.
bing.
Hey everybody, Marklin here from Founders Education Department. John G's with me today. We are hanging out and talking about movies and the beers that we think pair with them. Hi, John.
Hi. Yeah, we've been watching a lot of movies, as you probably have, but over here we've kind of started digging into some of our DVDs, actual physical copies of movies, and trying to see some of the ones that have been on our shelves for a while. So Marklin and I have paired some beers with these movies, and we hope that you guys like them as well. But to kind of help us to see how we've done with our pairings, we wanted to bring in one of our resident movie buffs here at Founders. So John, who works in our marketing department, I think is going to join us shortly. So let's give him a little jingle.
Ring.
Hey guys,
Hey, buddy.
how we doing?
Pretty good.
You like the energy of that intro?
It was good.
All right, cool. That's
I feel
good.
like I'm on a game show.
I
All right,
keep-
who's going to go first?
Yeah, if you want to start, Marklin. So I think the idea is that, who's ever not presenting will kind of help John do some reviews on your pairings, and then vice versa. And then I think you might have a secret one for us, for Marklin and I to review when we're done.
It could be true. We'll see.
All right.
Time will tell.
All right,
Okay.
let's go. Marklin, if you want
All
to
right.
start, what's your first movie and beer?
Yes. Okay, so my first movie is Grumpy Old Men, and I am pairing that with Dirty Bastard. And the reason I chose that is if you have watched this movie, the two friends have a love-hate relationship with each other, and they probably call each other Dirty Bastard throughout the film. It's one of my favorites.
It's not bad. Go, John, what do you think?
For the pairing, I give it thumbs up. 2 thumbs up? Is that what we're doing?
Sure.
Yeah.
That works. It's a great pairing. Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, right? It's
Yeah.
great. That makes total sense to me. I love it.
Yeah, I think they're pretty full-bodied and sassy, and Dirty Bastard is pretty full-bodied and sassy itself. So I give it a couple thumbs as well, too.
Oh, yay.
And after a couple Dirty Bastards, you'd probably be talking like those guys too.
Yeah.
That's true. Yep.
All right. Well, the first one that I did is one of my favorites. I'm a big fan of his stuff. It's called Groundhog Day, which is kind of a little topical right now because it seems like we're repeating the same days over and over. And if you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over, you need a beer that you can keep doing over and over. So that was my idea here. So all day IPA, 4.7% alcohol. You can keep drinking it as the days reset themselves.
I like it. I'll give it 2 thumbs up. If you're going to, on a day that I drink a few all days, the next day I'm like, oh, I could go for an all day. So to repeat it, you might as well do it with a beer that you like.
I'm also going to give that 2 thumbs up. First of all, it's one of the best movies ever made, and I love Bill Murray more than most things. And the pairing itself is fantastic. It's great. So
Nice.
you really thought that through, John.
A rare win.
Can I add something real quick? How long do you think that Phil Connors is stuck in Groundhog Day? Time-wise? How many?
40 years.
40 years?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I mean, he learns how to play piano and all that stuff. So
Exactly.
about 10,000 all-day IPAs.
There you go. Tying it all back.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right.
All right, my next one, not to be confused with my first one, Grumpier Old Men.
Oh, sequel.
See a
What
pattern.
It only makes sense. So Grumpy Old Man goes with Dirty Bastard, Grumpier, because timeline-wise, if you watch the movies back to back, I would say it's probably within a year or so of each other. So I had to pick Backwoods Bastard because we age it just shy of a year. Starts out as Bastard. So you watch Dirty Bastard with Grumpy Old Man, Backwoods with Grumpier.
I mean, I'm going to say thumbs up because I think part of that movie that I remember is the jealousy that the two guys now have over loved ones. And I'm pretty jealous that I don't have any Backwoods Bastard left at my house. So that's a win.
Thank you.
I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up as well, just for the continuity and for sharing the Grumpier Old Men shared universe with us. But yeah, great pairing. And again, it's a sequel. It's got to up the ante. They have to be grumpier. They have to be older. They have to be more manly. No, I'm kidding. Backwards Bastard, it's a good fit for that. So
Thank you.
Hey.
Gosh, you guys are
Hopefully
making
we don't make a grumpiest old men because I don't think we have another Dirty Bastard themed beer on deck.
complete the trilogy.
All right,
All right.
John, what's next for you?
So I picked, this is one of my favorites. So two of my favorites, actually, the beer and the movie. The movie that I picked is Clue, which you haven't seen. It is pretty amazing. It's one of the best movies based on a board game, in my opinion, about a murder mystery. And then the beer that I picked is Unraveled. So I picked this because there's a lot of layers to this movie and a lot of whodunits, and there's a lot of hops, and how the heck did we do that in this beer is kind of my idea behind this one. So many, many layers to both of these. I recommend them both.
That's incredible. I mean, that's a very good pairing. So I would obviously give it 2 thumbs up. So
Nice.
I'm keeping with it. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up as well. I think that Unraveled is a perfect choice for that. It does just the mystery keeps unraveling as you go. There's different endings at the end, so you can unravel it in different ways.
No spoilers in case anybody hasn't seen it.
Well, I'm not going to tell you the endings. They actually released those endings in the theater. Every theater got a different ending at the time, so no one was seeing the same movie when it was released. So that's cool too. So kind of unraveling the ending. So 2 thumbs up.
you are a movie buff. I didn't know that.
Blue is like near and dear to my heart. I love it so much. Tim
love
Curry's best performance. Except for Muppet Treasure Island.
My next pairing, I feel like it's a little bit of a stretch, but I'll explain why I paired it. So I'm going with The Incredibles, okay? So I chose to pair it with our beautiful Red's Rye, which this is my last one. They wear red. The beer is named Reds, but also the plot of this movie is like the kids kind of have to like subdue their powers and whatnot and kind of like change a little bit. And in the story, like our timeline for Red's Rye, we've tried to tweak the recipe to like, change its shelf life and whatnot. And then we went back to like, this is what it is. And we have to appreciate it like that. And then it makes it an awesome beer. And then The Incredibles kind of go through that same thing. So I sideways thumbs for myself on that one.
Well, having seen that movie, and the best part about having kids is I think you get to watch all those movies and pretend that they're for your children instead of yourself. But the Red's Rye is not for children, though, and that is my favorite beer. So that alone gets a thumbs up. And the pairing, I think it's still pretty good. So I'm going to give it 2.
Oh yeah, for sure. The movie, kind of the same reason, John. My boys love that movie. We've probably seen it 1,000 times at this point. They call Mrs. Incredible Mama Incredible, which I really like. And so Red's Rye is one of my favorite beers, so thumbs up on that. At first, I said thumbs down to the pairing, but then you added that extra element of
Talk me into it.
bringing the recipe back to its roots. So, oh my gosh, 2 thumbs up for the pairing, Mark. Great job.
Oh my gosh, I could just cry. I'm so excited.
You're back.
Speaking of, I'm a big fan of most of his work, so I wanted to bring out at least one. But my next one is Young Frankenstein, which is a Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder movie, which is pretty hilarious. So this is a take on a classic story with a lot of comedy built in. So the beer that I picked to go with this is a take on a classic Centennial Ipa, which is a beer that we've had out for about 20 years, which is phenomenal. It's basically been one of the backbones of the founder's profile, and it has great hop aroma, great maltiness to it, and this beer I think goes really well with this movie.
I agree. I love Gene Wilder, so that alone, I mean, he's Willy Wonka as well, so that right there just okay. I was excited about it. I'll give it 2 thumbs up.
I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up as well, because Young Frankenstein is a classic, time-tested comedy, one of my dad's favorite movies, by the way. And yeah, I think the 2 just go well together. Just classic standbys that you can never go wrong with. So.
Okay, so I am up next, and I chose the classic musical 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. My sister and I watched this probably weekly growing up, so these songs were sang all throughout our childhood, and I picked Curmudgeon's Better Half for this. So without giving the whole plot away, because I'm sure you're all going to run right out and watch this musical, but the Adam goes into town to basically find a wife, and so Millie is who he brings home, and so he's kind of rough around the edges. It's 7 brothers on a farm, so she really brings kind of like the softer side to things, and teaches them how to love and all that. So Curmudgeon's better half is the kind of sweeter barrel-aged version of Curmudgeon, and I thought that paired nicely together. So, the end.
Nice. I actually have seen this movie, although I was unaware it was on DVD. I thought it was just beta or VHS, but it's cool that they've gotten it up. So I have seen it, and I really love that beer. It's a pretty fun story. I used to watch a lot of old movies with my mom, and I didn't watch it the thousands and thousands of times that you probably did, but I think that the movie is pretty solid. So the movie gets around here, but I do like the beer, so I'm going to give it a 1.5 thumbs up.
All right, I'll allow it.
You win this time, John G. I'm going to give it 2 big thumbs up because I also watched that movie a lot when I was younger with my grandma who loved it. So this one's for you, Grandma. 2 thumbs up. Great pairing. Better half. A hard to find beer sometimes. So that's also plays along with what you said, John, that it's like you didn't know it was on DVD. It's a hard to find movie. Marklin owns the only copy on DVD.
Yeah.
The movie that I've chosen is Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, which is a pretty deep movie if you haven't seen it. It's about a group that are going into boot camp and then have to go off to war. So it's a pretty hefty story. There's some fun parts, but there's also some seriousness too. So the beer that I chose with this is also a pretty serious one. I have our KBS, our Kentucky Breakfast Stout. So this has some coffee and chocolate in it, then it's barrel aged for a year. So there's some serious flavors going in, but there's still things that you can enjoy. So I figured with this movie, this is kind of the perfect beer for both aspects of that.
Having not watched that movie, you just saw that I love Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, so you'd probably guess that Full Metal Jacket's not up my alley, but without seeing it, I would say that I would probably like to enjoy that KBS while I'm like getting into a movie that's outside of my style, so I will give you 2 thumbs up for that.
Oh, thank you.
It'll give me, I can enjoy the beer and it'll, give me to watch that without hiding my face or crying.
Which is how you usually watch movies, right?
I do. Yeah, I do.
I like that you said there's some pretty fun stuff in there, John, because it's like one of the most intense Kubrick movies. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. There's a definite pattern forming here. Love Full Metal Jacket, love KBS. The 2 together KBS is a serious beer. They're not messing around. And Stanley Kubrick's definitely not messing around in Full Metal Jacket. Shout out to Arlie Ermy for being the best drill sergeant of all time.
Nice.
Let's move on to the next one.
Ooh, okay. So I feel like this is the perfect movie for my last choice. It's The Hangover. So very appropriate. So I was kind of going to go 2 ways. Like, this is all about like you party too hard, so maybe you need something light. But I was like, nope, what makes more sense to me is drinking 4 Giants with it. So 4 main characters in the movie, they get into all this craziness, and 4 Giants is a huge IPA that kind of was created by combining 4 of the big IPAs that we have had in distribution and in the tap room, and it becomes this huge beer, and I thought that fit well together.
Yeah, I agree. I think that movie has 4 big stars in there, and the beer has 4 big stars as well too, that were kind of combined into one perfect ensemble cast. So I'm giving it thumbs up on both, because that 4 Giants has a lot of flavor, a lot of aromas, and that movie has a lot of flavor as well too. So I think it goes really well together.
Here we go. I'm going to give 4 Giants IPA a thumbs up. I'm going to give The Hangover a big thumbs down. The pairing gets a double thumbs up because it is awesome. It is a great pairing, but The Hangover's just never done it for me.
My last choice as well is another favorite. It's Office Space. If you haven't seen this, it actually, now I watched it recently, kind of makes me miss working in the office a little bit as much as we used to. But it's a nice tale of, a little satire, if you will, of, working in a menial job maybe. But I think the beer that kind of helps break out of that monotony is Solid Gold, because in the world of lagers and pilsners, I think Solid Gold with the lemon drop hops has a little bit more going on. And this isn't just an office documentary. It's got a little bit more going on too. It's pretty fun. So that's kind of why I put these 2 together.
My gosh, that was just the perfect explanation. You think like a lot of people probably think like every office is the same, every lager is the same, and that's not the case for either of those. So 2 thumbs up.
Nice.
I'm also going to give that pairing 2 thumbs up. Perfect explanation of Solid Gold and Office Space. Just something kind of under the surface that you can't quite put your finger on and why it's different than the rest. And I think you really nailed it with that one. And both Solid Gold and Office Space are classics. So
Cool. Well, those are our choices. John, do you have one for us to rent? We don't even know what's coming yet.
maybe I do have one. I thought about whether I should go old favorite, or something new. And it's not the newest beer we have, but the movie's fairly new. And that is Booksmart, which is one of my new classic favorite movies. I ride pretty hard for this movie, and I think it's awesome. It's hilarious. It's slightly sweet, real tangy sense of humor, a little bit salty, and then the end of the movie is it's a sweet ending. It's like a movie they don't really make anymore. A style that like is kind of rare. I don't see a lot of gozas out there, so I went with Green Zebra.
Nice.
Smart, slightly sweet, tangy, salty, just like the movie itself. And I think it's fantastic. So.
Wow. Well, I've not seen the movie personally, but I have had Green Zebra, and based on your description alone of both of them, I'm inclined to give you thumbs up then. So I will check it out because I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I have had a chance to try the beer. But both of them sound pretty appetizing, so I might even try them together.
Oh yes, I agree. I have not seen it. I've watched the previews and interested in seeing it, and you just put me over the edge. I can't wait to see it.
The tipping point.
Yep, I wasn't sure what you were gonna pull out, but that was like the perfect explanation too, and that's why you're our movie buff at Founders. So 2 thumbs up for me.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. That was fun. Thanks for.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed some of the pairings that we've had. Hope you guys are enjoying watching some movies and enjoying some beers, and these give you some ideas. So maybe, shout out to us with some ideas that you might have, or if you disagreed with some of the pairings that we had. But we hope you enjoy the time. We hope you enjoy the beers and the movies, and we'll catch you guys later.